know what they say. Keep it balanced. Keep it cute. But baby, my balance, it comes from above. So step light. Hold your head high. We gon' praise and still look fly. Weighing every season, heart on one side, truth on the other. Grace in my walk, glory in my cover. Step to the left, I'm aligned. Peace in my heart, made of mine. Wrist shining, Bible in my bag. Gold on my neck, Savior in my sweat. Born with the scales in my head. Still I lay it all in His plan. Measured by mercy, not fame. He called my star by my name. I'm a Libra in the light, standing tall in my faith. Pretty smile, holy style. I got heaven on my face. When I move, when I glide, it's the grace in my stride. Balanced by the blood, that's my scales and my pride. That's my scales and my pride. Hey, hey, oh, oh, hey, hands up high, heels on beat, praise in the club, praise in the street. Halo over this laid out lace, a little gloss, whole lot of grace. They see the charm, but He sees the core. He opened doors I ain't asking for, so I two-step, testify, slide every turn. He by my side, I'm a Libra in the light, standing tall in my faith. Pretty smile, holy style. I got heaven on my face. When I move, when I glide, it's the grace in my stride. Balanced by the blood, that's my scales and my pride. That's my scales and my pride. Whoa, left, right, spin it, back, stay true. If you love the Lord, let it shine. Hey, heart in the clouds, feet on the floor. We give Him the praise, then we give Him some more. I'm a Libra in the light, standing tall in my faith. Pretty smile, holy style. I got heaven on my face. When I move, when I glide, it's the grace in my stride. Balanced by the blood, that's my scales and my pride. That's my scales and my pride.
Oh, hey everybody, this is your girl Creole Butterfly, Libra Butterfly, Coco 929, coming to you from the great state of Kentucky, where the women are beautiful and the horses are fast. The horses are beautiful and the women are fast. It just depends on what you like. I want to say happy birthday, happy quinceañera, happy anniversary, happy bar mitzvah to Lottie Dottie, and every darn body under the sound of my voice. So you know I'm B.O. the what? The smooches. So come here. Mwah. You get a smooch. You get a smooch. Everybody gets a smooch. Hey, Larry, thank you so much. Don't work too hard. All right, y'all. So let's start off with something light first, okay? So let me go here. I hope y'all had a good Monday. Once I get off of here, I think I'm going to lay my gut up a country butt down, okay? Let me make sure y'all can. Dang, I grabbed my cupcake instead of my mouse. What the heck, y'all? Okay. Right here. This is my niece, the famous seafood lady, okay? I don't know if she's been in your area yet, but they are going across the United States introducing people to the seafood lady, okay? Right here, somebody said, after a very busy yet successful day, it did my soul some good to enjoy my plate from the seafood lady, okay? Everything was delicious, and I'm ready for the next pop-up. My Kinley would have really enjoyed this, because if you knew her, you know she loved her some seafood, okay? And this right here is the seafood, the shrimp platter, right? This is the small shrimp platter at that. All right. So give me one moment. I'm leading up to something, y'all. I'm leading up to something. I'm leading up to something. Let me get to this video right here. Then I got one last video about the seafood lady, and then we're gonna get into the things of the thing. I hope everybody has had a great day today. Shout out to Miss T Velocity. I saw what you went live, boo. I'm great. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. Okay. Here we go. Right here. Oh. Okay, Rebel Sun Boo. She was in your area. I wonder if you got a chance to experience her. All right, let's go. Here we go.
Am I allowed to cuss?
Yes, you are.
This motherfucker right here. I'm sorry, I'm ignorant. But
No,
yeah.
that's okay. So we are at the seafood lady, and this is a first time customer. He got that everything for y'all, and you already know how it goes.
Oh, and it tastes like it look.
And that's on everything.
Good.
Hey, okay.
This, hey, am I allowed to cuss?
Yes, you are.
This motherfucker right here. I'm sorry, I'm ignorant. But
No,
yeah.
that's okay. So we are at the seafood lady, and this is a first time customer. He got that everything for y'all, and you already know how it goes.
Oh.
And everything fried. Oh Lord, let me put this charge in here. Everything fried is exactly that. Everything that she has, like all the meats, you can put on the fry. Okay. So what I used to do is when I got my fries, I would just have crab meat in her sauce. Man, when I tell you at crab meat, my God, today, and that sauce make you want to smack somebody. Makes you want to smack somebody, okay? Hold on. I don't think I shared this other one. Wait a minute. Hold on, y'all. It's Monday. Monday. Hold on one moment. Because this is the one I want to show y'all. I build up to that one and let me show you this. Let me show you. So if she ever come in your area, okay, please support and let her know that you know her auntie, Coco, and she gonna say where she live at. Because if you don't know my state, then she ain't gonna believe you. She ain't gonna believe you, player. Okay, from them there. All right, let me show y'all this, right? Let me see. Okay. I think is that my son? Hold on. Yep. Okay. Do y'all know this lady right here? Do y'all know her? Let's go. What's my niece's husband? Come on, man. I can't stand Wi-Fi.
Oh, bro, was that food? How was that food, bro?
She said, man, everything.
Appreciate that, baby.
So they asked Glorilla.
Appreciate that, big dog.
They asked my niece to feed Glorilla and her people. So shout out to the seafood lady. Hey, HJ.
Oh, bro, was that food? How was that food, bro?
Man, everything was working. That shit was good as a summer bitch. Like, stop it.
Appreciate that, baby. Appreciate you, big dog.
That's what's up. Okay. If y'all go back and if you go to Diners, Drive-ins, and Drives or whatever it's called, you can pull her up when she had her restaurant. When she had her restaurant here in the city and everything. She actually had 3 restaurants in Kentucky. Yeah. She went from a food truck to 3 restaurants. She went from out of her house to a food truck to 3 restaurants. Okay. Now she just travels in her supersized food truck. Okay. And that's what they do their stuff at. They do what they do. Okay. So I wanted to uh just give her a shout out and everything and just let you know if you ever heard of the seafood lady coming to your location, please go support her. It is totally black owned. It's a husband and wife doing their thing. It's her granddaddy's uh recipes, okay? And even her brother is the crab king, something like it, the crab king. He's been on major news too, and he always give her gives her the credit and everything. So yeah, that's what's up. That is what's up. So let's go here. Let's get into the important things of the things. All right. I hope y'all had a blessed day today. I hope y'all been okay. I'm up here sipping my coffee. You know I love me some coffee. Coffee. I'm waiting on my mama to call me back because when I went up there to get me some coffee at this gas station, not too far from my house, I seen a picture of my little cousin again up in the window as if he's missing again. Because when I went up there the other day, it wasn't up there. And so I called my mom and I'm like, is Caleb missing again? She said, not as I know of. I said, well, they just got a picture up here of him. She's like, what? Send me a copy. So I took a picture and sent it to her. So she said she gonna look into it because, yeah. So anyway, y'all, Epstein is the gift that keeps on giving. Do you hear me? He is the gift that keeps on giving. So I used to work for Bank of America, okay? I actually took care of, I started in small banks, okay? Meaning that they were small accounts. Those was accounts that was no higher than like $50,000, okay? And then I met the CEO, and he offered me a position in the big accounts, which is over $1 million. Okay, meaning each count is over $1 million. If y'all heard of Sudoku, that was one of the accounts that I took care of. Okay, so anyway, I love that job. I really did. The only reason why I left Bank of America, to be honest with you, was to go to this place called Heartland. Okay, and they gave me a position at Heartland taking care of, bank accounts, corporate accounts, and all of this and stuff, all the money. Okay, not only that, I actually also created, if you ever go into a store and you see those credit card machines, like they little square or whatever, and you slide your card or you stick your card in, I used to program those. And then also, if you ever went into a store and you see a computer and it's got a flat screen and they take your card and swipe it after they done typed your stuff in on the flat screen, as a POS system, I actually was the one who programmed those. Okay. So, so that's why I went, is to expand my knowledge on credit cards and banking and stuff like that. Okay. So, imagine my surprise when I saw that Bank of America knew about this trafficking situation. So let me read it to you real quick, okay? Victims of Jeffrey Epstein filed a civil lawsuit against Bank of America, alleged that the bank enabled his sex trafficking operation by continuing to provide financial services despite warning signs. The claims focused on patterns such as large cash withdrawals, payments to multiple young women, and other transactions that plaintiffs argued should have triggered scrutiny or intervention. Rather than going to trial, Bank of America agreed to pay $72.5 million to settle the case, with the funds intended to compensate victims. The bank did not admit wrongdoing, and the settlement resolves the allegations without a legal determination of liability. Let me scoot this up. Hold on. Okay. This is the fourth major bank to settle on claims like this. J.P. Morgan paid $290 million to victims, then another $75 million to the U.S. Virgin Islands. Deutsche Bank paid $75 million to victims and got hit with a $150 million regulatory fine on top of that. Every single settlement came with no admission of wrongdoing. Every bank said some versions of "we regret the association" and moved on. Thus far, no bankers have been criminally charged. Okay? Now, y'all can come up with all this money to quieten a lawsuit, but you can't come up with money to help nobody to give any raises, which is weird. Okay? It's weird to me. There would not be any criminal charges, okay? They've already said that. The blind lady, she already said that they're not going to bring any criminal charges up because it would cripple the economy. And what's so sad, y'all, is some people actually agree that would cripple the economy if they charge everybody in the Epstein files. I call bull donkey. I call bull, okay? Let's see. Let's see if it'll cripple. But let's just see, okay? Because this is weird. Y'all don't want to do that. But her R. Kelly still sit in jail. Her Diddy sit in jail. Now y'all done sue Cosby, okay, and got y'all lawsuit money. But it'll cripple the economy if all them other rich, wealthy billionaires and millionaires have to pay some money or have to face what they've done in the Epstein thing. That's crazy. I ain't buying it. I ain't buying it. To me, it's a bunch of doohickey. It's a bunch of boo-boo. Okay? It's a bunch of boo-boo and boo-boo. I ain't buying it. I'm not buying it at all. Okay? So if you actually bank with Bank of America, you may want to look into that and see if you can get anything as being, because if you have a bank account with Bank of America, whose money do y'all think they use to do this? I'm just saying. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about, okay? Whose money y'all think they use? I'll tell you what, this is a horrid cupcake. My God, today. Hold on. I was craving chocolate. And y'all know what that means, right? Okay. Anyway, but yeah, that's weird to me. All those banks coming out of their pocket with millions upon millions of dollars. Don't nobody else see that's kind of crazy or strange? And what my thing is this: why even let the files out about Epstein if y'all wasn't gonna do nothing? Like, seriously, why even let the files out if you wasn't gonna do nothing? That's weird to me. But I guess that's just me. I don't know. All right, before I go to the next thing, let me show y'all something that's gonna make y'all laugh. Hold on. Now, excuse me. Okay, it says Trina, so I guess it is a girl. I didn't know if it was a woman or a man, so I was gonna say, excuse me for my naive. My naive. I know it ain't what this says, but hold on. This is funny. I wasn't expecting this. Hold on. I wasn't expecting this, I promise y'all. Oh, my throat. I have to find my allergy pills. Okay, y'all ready? Here we go. See, they ain't doing it right because I want y'all to see the whole thing. I wasn't ready. I swear I wasn't ready. I didn't know if he was gonna get away with that or not. I was like, he might get away with that because that's creative. Dropped your keys and then you gonna bend over. You gonna bend over all the things of the things. So I'm like, okay, that's creative. That's creative. He gonna get to look at the cheeks. Okay, he gonna get to look at the cheeks. So I'm like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Okay, so uh, last but not least, and give me one moment to pull this up. And I just want to, like I said, I don't mind y'all getting letting the sister know. Okay, give me one moment. Hold on. Where does it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? No, that's not it. Hold on. Did it get stuck? La da 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 da. La da 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 da. Honey, in a minute. Hold on. When I get out of here, I'm taking my coffee, sitting on the side of my bed. I'm getting undressed, putting on my pajamas, sliding in my comforter and stuff. And that's where I'm going to be for a while. Hopefully, I'll go to sleep, catch me some Z's. But if not, that's where I'm going to be for a minute, okay? Then I get up and take my shower and then get back in the bed, okay? Because it ain't going to pop off right now. I'm too tired. I be done bump my head and try to get in the shower right now. But I love my bed. I was going to get a king size bed, y'all, but it can't fit in that room. That king size, my queen size almost fit up my whole room as it is. So I know a king size, which I'll roll from one side of the room to the other. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Right here. Let's go.
The one that gets me kicked off this platform. So I'm going to be graphic. It is what it is. Let's talk. Because this week something happened that took us about 400 years to get to. And before I tell you what was said, I need to tell you what was being named. Because this is the part that never gets said with the weight that it deserves. Before a single ship left the coast of West Africa, the people who are going to be put on it were already being processed, stripped naked, prodded, groped. Traders invasively examined the breast, buttocks, and vaginal areas of women and girls, allegedly to assess their childbearing ability. Men and boys were groped around the groin, scrotum, and anus. One white trafficker who later testified described the process as similar to what you would do to a horse before purchasing it. These were human beings, y'all. They were being evaluated the way that you would evaluate livestock. And when the evaluation was done, they were assigned a number, not a name, a number, and loaded onto ships. These ships were built into two categories, tight packers and loose packers. Tight packers maximized profit. Human beings were measured with instruments with charts to calculate how many bodies could be chained in a single row. The space allocated per person was roughly the size of a coffin. Men were shackled together in pairs at the wrists and ankles and packed into the hold lying on their sides, unable to sit up, unable to turn over, unable to move. The heat in the hold was lethal and suffocating. There was almost no ventilation. The air was so thick with human waste, sweat, and disease that sailors reported being unable to breathe when they opened the hatch. Dysentery tore through entire decks. People vomited on each other. People had diarrhea on each other. People died chained to the person beside them and stayed there, rotting, until someone came to remove the body. Sometimes that took days. Smallpox spread. Measles spread. The living were chained to the dead in spaces the size of coffins, in heat that historians describe as suffocating and unbearable. In the middle of the ocean, women were kept unchained in separate compartments, not as mercy, but because being unchained made them easier to access. Crew members raped them throughout the voyage, not occasionally, routinely. Those who resisted were flogged. Women gave birth on those ships, without medical care, without assistance. In those conditions, most newborns didn't survive. In one documented case, a captain punished a failed rebellion by killing one of the men involved immediately and forcing two other enslaved people to eat his heart and liver, while the rest, it is documented in historical accounts of the Middle Passage. About 15% of the people put on those ships, nearly 2 million human beings died before they reached land. They were thrown overboard, and some were thrown overboard alive because maritime insurance paid for cargo lost at sea, not cargo that died of illness. Throwing people into the ocean alive was more profitable than letting them die of disease. The most documented case is the Zong Massacre of 1781, in which a British captain threw 132 enslaved people into the ocean alive and filed an insurance claim.
Yep.
The case went to court.
Yep.
The question before the court wasn't whether a crime had been committed, though. The question was whether the insurance policy covered the loss. The ones who survived the crossing arrived at a port and then were processed again. Before they were sold, their skin was rubbed with oil to disguise cracking and lesions. Their heads were sometimes shaved to remove gray hairs and bacteria, to make them look younger and healthier than they actually were. They were examined again by buyers, poked, prodded, molested. George Washington, who would become the first president of the United States, specified in writing in 1772 that he preferred enslaved people not exceeding 20 years of age. He was placing an order for human beings, like you would place an order for food. And the ones who were purchased were put to work. About 80% of enslaved Africans transported across the Middle Passage ended up on sugar plantations in South America and the Caribbean, where the mortality rate was so high that the entire enslaved population had to be continuously replaced through the ongoing slave trade. People worked from before dawn until after dark in gangs, cutting sugarcane in tropical heat, feeding it into mills regularly to fingers, hands, and arms. Life expectancy on a sugar plantation was measured in years, not decades. The system consumed people.
And in the sugar plantations, they had swamps and snakes that was inside of the swamps. Let's go.
That was the model. You work them to death and then you buy more. In the United States, enslaved people were raped systematically by the men who owned them, by overseers, by anyone the law permitted. And when those rapes produced children, those children were born enslaved. The enslaver's blood ran through the veins of the people that he owned. Families were deliberately separated at auction. Children sold away from mothers, husbands sold away from wives, with the specific intention that they would never find each other again. Their languages were criminalized. Their religions were outlawed. Their names were replaced with the names of the men who owned them. Reading and writing were made illegal. The systematic destruction of identity, culture, language, family, and humanity was not incidental to the system. It was the system. You can't enslave a person that knows who they are. So they made sure people didn't know. This ran for 400 years. The records are a little fuzzy, but between 12 and 14 million people were stolen from Africa. Nearly 2 million died on the crossing. Tens of millions more were born into slavery in the Americas. The wealth generated by their labor built banking systems, the insurance industries, the textile industries, and the national economies of Britain, Spain, France, Portugal, the Netherlands, and the United States. That wealth was inherited. It was compounded. It is still here. When Britain abolished slavery in 1833, the government paid 20 million pounds in compensation, equivalent to about 2 billion pounds today. That money went to the enslavers, not to the enslaved. British taxpayers were paying off that debt until 2015. Lloyd's of London, which insured slave ships throughout the trade, they formally acknowledged the history and apologized for it. But the wealth didn't disappear. It compounded. The cotton that enslaved people picked in Mississippi in 1850, it built the textile industry that funded the Industrial Revolution. None of that wealth was ever returned. And when it was over, the men who built all of that wrote the history books. They named the streets after themselves, built monuments to the men that tried to keep it going. taught children that it was a tragedy of its time, something complicated, something to understand in context, you know? This week, 123 countries stood up at the United Nations and said, no, we see it, we name it, the gravest crime in the history of humanity. And I keep thinking about the people that never got to hear that. The people who died carrying the truth of this in their bodies, with the world's silence pressing down on top of it. Our ancestors knew exactly what it was. They lived it and the world looked away. That's not a small thing to finally name. Now let's talk about who refused to name it. 3 countries out of 193. The United States, Israel, and Argentina. 3 countries looked at a non-binding statement, not a reparations check, not a court summons, not a single dollar changing hands, not one person facing any kind of consequences, just a formal moral acknowledgement that this happened and that it was the worst, and voted no. They voted no. And the argument this country made is one of the most clarifying things they've said in years. The U.S. Deputy Ambassador stood up in that hall and said, "The United States does not recognize a legal right to reparations for historical wrongs that were not illegal under international law at the time they occurred." They built the legal system that made all of that legal. They wrote those laws. They enforced them. They sent men with guns to drag the people back that survived long enough to escape. They fought a war. Hundreds of thousands of people died, specifically to keep those laws in place. And now they're sitting behind those same laws as their defense, as proof that they don't owe anything. The country that engineered the legal architecture of chattel slavery is using that same architecture like a shield. That's a confession if I've ever heard one. And then there's Europe. Europe didn't vote no, they abstained. And I want you to hear what Europe said in order to explain that. The European Union said that they couldn't support the resolution because the word gravest implies a hierarchy amongst atrocity crimes, and no legal hierarchy between crimes exists. The country that designed ships specifically engineered to maximize the number of human bodies that you could pack into a hull, that built the plantation economies that made European aristocratic families wealthy for 10 generations and counting, that colonized an entire continent and drew its borders at a conference in Berlin in 1884, where not a single African person was present, that extracted the gold, the diamonds, the rubber, the copper, the people for 100 years, and are still sitting with that wealth in 2026, had concerns about an adjective, not the 2 million people thrown into the ocean, not the women raped on those ships, not the children sold at auction, the word used to describe all of it. The Netherlands is the only country in the world that's ever formally apologized for its role in the slave trade. 1 out of every nation that participated. 1 apology in the entire history of the Western world. But look at who said yes, right? 132 countries, the entire African continent, the Caribbean, Latin America, most of Asia, the global South, the people who know from their blood and their bones what it means to be on the receiving end of that power. They didn't hesitate. They didn't debate language. They didn't have concerns about adjectives. They called it what it is without flinching, without qualifying, without apologizing for the clarity of it all. And for the first time in the history of international law, it's on the record. What happened to African people wasn't complicated. It wasn't a product of its time. It wasn't something ever done to each other. 123 names on it. So let me be clear about what this week was and what it wasn't. It wasn't justice. It wasn't reparations. It wasn't accountability. No one's going to prison. No check is being written. No land is being returned. No wealth redistributed. It was 123 countries agreeing on a word, a non-binding word, and even then it was too much for some people. But that word, after 400 years of refusing to say it, is not nothing, because our ancestors carried the truth of this without anyone official ever confirming it. They knew what it was. We have always known what it is. And for generations, we were told we were exaggerating, that we needed to move on, that it was a long time ago, that people asking for acknowledgement were the problem. 3 countries said no, but 123 said yes. And the people who built this world on the bodies of our ancestors, who designed ships to fit more of them in, who rubbed oil on their skin to hide the damage before putting them on the auction block, who bred them like livestock and sold their children and raped their daughters, and then wrote history books calling it complicated, spent 400 years trying to make us forget that we were worth fighting for. This week, The world disagreed. That belongs to us. It always has. And nobody gets to take that back.
Yeah. From Kentucky to the world. It's the season of the scale. Creole butterfly. Spread them wings, girl. Yeah. Yeah. Born to shine. Libra balance in her soul. Creole roots deep. Got that heart of gold. Butterfly in motion, grace when she fly. Every room she step in, the stars multiply. Dr.Creole, wisdom with the style. That Kentucky vibe, make the world smile. Energy, crown sitting high. Royal Libra season, can't nobody deny. Creole butterfly, Libra queen tonight. Glowing like the moon in that southern light. From Kentucky fields to the city dream. She the vibe, she the balance, she the queen supreme. Smooth with the talk, yeah, she calm the storm. Butterfly wings, transformation form. She lifting up hearts with the words she say. A Libra queen guiding us all the way. Hey, Kentucky pride, rhythm in her veins. Creole fire running through her name. When she walk by, the whole crowd sing. Long live the queen, let the bell of love ring. Yeah, butterfly, don't you slow it down. Dr.Creole in the royal crown. Balance in the spirit, love in her hand. Libra queen, ruler of the land. Creole butterfly, Libra queen tonight. Glowing like the moon in that southern light. From Kentucky fields to the city dream. She the vibe, she the balance, she the queen supreme. Yeah. So spread your wings, let your soul be free. Yeah. Dr.Creole butterfly.